I feel like an 11 a.m. Diet Coke means there's some things you have to work on for yourself. Ultimately. 3 p.m. is a pretty standard, I'd say.
3 p.m. is that's your whole day led up to that.
3 p.m. is a respect for the game.
What game?
Diet
See, this
Coke.
is every Diet Coke drinker I know has this game. They're like,
yeah,
it's the game. You got to play the game. I don't want to play the game.
Yeah. Well, I used to.
I'm out of the game. I'm retired.
It's like having like a Diet Coke at the movies is like the gateway drug to drinking it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love Diet Coke so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's become honestly a little. I mean, I have unlimited access again at my job. Well, not unlimited actually. I'm definitely supposed to pay for them, but I just take them.
Of course. The
Why
Diet
would I
Coke?
pay for them?
You get fountain soda?
No, we just have like stocked cans of Diet Coke.
Oh, you do the cans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do the cans.
Those hit different.
They do, but nothing hits quite like a McDonald's Diet Coke, which I do also frequent.
Yeah, you're making me want McDonald's now.
It's okay. We'll get it after the pod.
I don't know if I can do that. I have $2 in my bank
Welcome to Swift Screen
Hey.
Podcast. This week we watched
School of Rock.
Whoa! So exciting. We accidentally watched 2 family films back to back.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think we yet. Yeah, well, we don't think we decided what we were going to watch next yet.
This so last week we saw Robots, which is parents on the cusp of divorce movie.
Yeah.
And School of Rock is like, listen, parents are divorced, but let's all still sit down and watch this movie. This is a post-divorce, we're still a family movie.
That's actually really sweet. Maybe that's why I feel so emotionally connected to this film.
I will say, though, this movie came out 2 years before Robots, when my parents were happily married.
Yeah, my parents were happily married in 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
My parents got divorced in 2010, so...
Yeah, but this movie is like what you watch after you first hear your parents like fighting upstairs, and like you all watch it together, and like it's the vibes are kind of tense.
Yes.
But like as time goes on, you remember what a family's all about.
Yeah, yeah. You remember, because in the movie he talks about rock and roll, and he's like, rock is when you scream at the man, and you're like, well, my parents are just screaming, so my parents are rock stars.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what happens when you never saw a therapist as a child. These are the strange rationalizations you have as an adult.
Yeah. School of Rock gave us something to hold on to as everything else was slipping away.
This isn't School of Rock, but I do remember fresh parent fighting leading straight into 2 consecutive episodes of American Idol. The live shows.
Dude, I remember
this family's being torn apart, but we're not missing a week. We gotta watch Taylor Hicks ascend to greatness.
Yeah. One of one of the last trips we went on as a family before my parents got divorced was to go see American Idol. Like we saw a live taping of American Idol.
What? Are you serious?
And not only did we see American Idol, we saw the David Cook and David Archuleta season.
You're kidding.
Yes, I'm being so serious.
That season was the show.
It was phenomenal.
Remember the finale? Remember when he read the name? He's like, David?
He did it at the beginning.
Yes.
He was like, we're doing something different this year. And I was like, holy fuck. Me as a child, I was like,
I just love when shows were that dumb.
Yeah.
Where they're like, both of them are named David. Holy shit.
I know. It couldn't get any crazier than that. 2 Davids in the top 2. Where do we go from here?
These are the top 2 Davids in the country who are good at singing. What are the odds? Millions of people that 2 Davids would be.
I bet when there was like 7 or 8 people left, they were like, we gotta get the 2 Davids up there. They were like, they probably like rigged the polls, honestly.
Remember?
Did you vote? Did you like call in and vote? Because I did all the time.
I remember I was too young.
You can do it with your parents' permission.
My parents never let me. Wait, I just realized
your parents didn't let you vote.
No, they didn't vote. My parents knew it was rigged. Every year he was just like, "There's never been as many votes. This year we got 4.6 billion votes."
Yeah,
and it's just so insane.
I like literally sobbed, screamed, like threw a tantrum when Chris Daughtry was eliminated on American Idol.
Yeah, like, that night ended horribly for the family.
It really was tough. I've always been like a fangirl, like like One Direction was in it, Jonas Brothers in it, Justin Bieber in it. Yeah. I wore a shirt to school.
That's embarrassing.
Delia's. Do you remember the store Delia's? It was like a tweeny like kids store, and they sold a lot of like graphic tees. Mm-hmm. Like it was like Hot Topic if you didn't hate yourself kind of vibe.
Yes.
Like Hot Topic for when you still had whimsy and like a childhood wonder. Like it was still there when that was still present before you like became cynical and terrible. Yeah.
Hot Topic is
so they had Bieber, like Justin Bieber shirts, and there was one that said like Justin Bieber, and it was Justin Bieber, but like as a beaver, And then there was one that said Future Mrs. Bieber, and I wore the Future Mrs. Bieber shirt to school.
That's fucking disgusting.
And Faith, my roommate Faith and best friend, still brings that up today, all the time. But Chris Daughtry was my original fangirl crush. I was obsessed with Chris Daughtry. Like, really? Yes. It was the first like CD where I was like, Mom, we need that CD, and I will be upset with you legitimately if we're not listening to that in the car anytime we go to Stop and Shop. It was like my yeah. I am go back and give Home the album, his like Daughtry, the self-titled band, I guess, whatever the fuck, his first one. Bangers, unironically bangers.
No, they're not.
Okay, you know what? We honestly can't get too deeply into if you don't like Chris Daughtry, because it will.
I hate Chris Daughtry.
This is gonna throw a wrench in the friendship if you choose to
hold on
to
this.
Want to,
okay, yeah, I hate him. What? Really? Chris Daughtry? Really? That's insane.
I think the odds of me
I'm judging you for this.
Me as an 8-year-old being the biggest Chris Daughtry fan there has ever been is honestly pretty high. I honestly think nobody has ever loved Chris Daughtry as much as I did when I was little.
My intro to homosexuality was Adam Lambert. When he was on that one season, I was like...
I thought, like, when you said...
I was like, whoa, what's...
You said intro to homosexuality, and I was like, you took that in college?
Welcome to Homo 101.
I would have taken that college course. Should we talk about School of Rock, Danny?
All right, but briefly, after I mentioned Adam Lambert...
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to cut off your gay awakening.
He was the first gay guy I saw.
Were you like, awooga?
No, I was just like, whoa.
Like, whoa.
I was like, holy crow. All right. Yeah. And my parents were like, we're going to let him figure this one out. That's like when I found out Barney from How I Met Your Mother was gay.
Was gay in real life? Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah. And
do the words Clay Aiken mean anything to you?
Clay Aiken. I'm aching for this clay. I need to morph it. Let's talk about School of Rock.
Okay. Right. So, first and foremost, Jack Black.
Yeah. Creepy. Creepy premise.
Yeah, because if this happened to you in your school, did you have a scandal? I don't think I don't think I should speak on the scandal that rocked my middle school because it was indeed present.
Yeah, keep that to yourself.
I will keep it to myself. But it did involve my science teacher. But not directly me.
Was he conducting a few experiments?
I used to play Angry Birds in his classroom, but ultimately he got fired. We don't need to get into this. The point being that if you heard that a nearby school, specifically a private school, stakes are higher at these institutions, that a 30-year-old whatever man posed as a substitute teacher with no teaching credentials whatsoever, and in fact no nothing about him other than the fact that he's a freaking rock star, that he came in for a month.
No qualifications except he's only ever played rock and roll in his life.
And
And it's 2002.
In full control of your children's young, moldable minds for a full straight month and didn't teach them anything, and instead was teaching them about...
Like, decided the moment he started teaching that he wasn't even going to attempt...
Pretend.
He wasn't even going to look at the sheets left for him to be like, I'll try teaching for at least an hour. He immediately did not teach them from the moment he started. Instead, he teaches them rock and roll.
Yeah.
And tries to get them into the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah. That man should be in prison for life.
Yeah. Not for life, maybe for maybe a couple months.
I actually am someone who deeply believes that we should abolish the carceral state, and I am vehemently against the current state of our criminal justice system. And there are many issues I take with the mass incarceration.
Running for class president? These are your platforms?
I'm just saying that, like, I, as someone who could not be more like opposed to the idea of sending anyone to prison, this man should be in prison.
No, I think he should. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Except
the fact that the movie doesn't end with him going to jail is
absolutely
absurd.
I love jail. I love prison.
Yeah, you're gonna make that. You're gonna take that stance.
That's my stance.
Okay.
It's my official. That's what I'm running on.
Yeah. I briefly
places people can't get out.
I so recently tried to sign up to. I was feeling really sad about the fact that jail and prison exists, so I signed up to Write a Prisoner.
Oh, really?
Because I wanted to like be like, we're rooting for you out here. I wanted to be like, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna. Some of us believe in you. Some of us want this to get better. Not the current vice president, maybe, but many of us are rooting for an alternative solution. But then I had to put in my address, and it was unclear to me if they would know my address. And I was like, well, I support you guys and want you to not be in your current situation, but I don't necessarily want you to know where I live. So
well, it's a good thing
I deleted
they're in
my
prison
account.
When they get
no,
out.
It's not a good thing that they're in prison. It's sad that I had to delete my account, and I'm gonna figure out how Write a Prisoner works so that I can
anonymously,
so that I can write letters to Dewey Finn lookalikes, I guess, or Dewey Finn people like Dewey Finn who for his crimes would in our modern society.
I'm looking at you like, yeah.
In our modern society, he probably would go to prison. He probably wouldn't get to finish this movie out opening a music school of his dreams.
I remember the scene where he's like, he finally gets caught and he's at the parent teacher.
It's like, and they're good kids.
Yeah.
And I've really gotten to like them. I would have been like, what are you? Like, it's crazy that sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like he does that whole like wonderful speech where you're like, okay, yeah, that's great that you like them, but you're 30 and you took my kids out of their schooling and taught them about Led Zeppelin.
Really hard.
And they have their exams coming up.
My daughter is Miranda Cosgrove. You've been teaching her shit for the last month?
Yeah.
My daughter is a star. And you're teaching her this garbage? This fucking garbage?
Yeah.
You're teaching her this fucking music? Sounds of the Devil?
Sounds of the Devil. Moral Panic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Speaking of this, are you ready for Steph's sociology corner?
Yes.
I'm deciding that that's a segment name. Right now in this moment.
Corner.
We're gonna workshop the name, okay? Soch segment, Soch section with Steph. Soch.
People listening to this on the road are just crashing.
They're like stroking out. Okay. Anyway, do the words cultural capital mean anything to you, Danny T?
Cultural capital.
Yeah.
DC.
That's the nation's capital.
Boy. Boy, is it. I love DC.
Diet Coke?
Shut the fuck up!
I love Diet Coke too.
Coke. No. Washington, D.C.
Okay. Well, cultural capital is a sociological theory came up with by Pierre Bourdieu. Bordeaux, French. I don't know how to speak it. But
it's Pierre. His name is
Bourdieu. I think it's Bourdieu. Because I learned about this in a Zoom class, and I sent my sociology professor an email after I read the reading, and I was like, Pierre Bordeaux, more like, I'm bored, yo. And then he talked about it in class and said Bourdieu. And I was like, well, my joke doesn't make sense then if it doesn't rhyme with Bourdieu. So cultural capital. Okay. Karl Marx came up with economic capital. More economic capital you have, higher place in society. Right. Pierre Bourdieu was like, so true, bestie. So glad you came up with that. Let's take it a step further. Cultural capital. What it means to be high class and have sort of like cultural ideas. That also says a lot about where you are in society. You know, see a man in a monocle and you're like, that guy's got something going. That's high class. And there are 3 types of cultural capital: objective, art, books, music, film; embodied, mannerisms, language, etc.; institutionalized, actual credentials, like academic achievements. Something that Dewey Finn, Jack Black, does not possess in this film. But that was like my main takeaway when being stoned watching this, was that all the parents are like, rock and roll, what about the theater? And how like cultural distinctions like bleed into like our academic institutions and like perpetuate such class standards through consumption of like art and what that means. How rock and roll is like in some ways considered not like, I wouldn't say like lowbrow, because that's definitely not, I think, at least true to today's society, but like in the, at least in this school, I think that's why it's set in like such a, you know, like this like stuffy place. So the contrast seems even like more intense, that all these like rich parents who spend $15,000, the rich are like,
$15,000.
we gotta do opera. The kids gotta be consuming the best of the best.
Yeah, the fine arts.
The fine arts.
Yeah.
The high class shit.
Rock and roll is not a fine art, but classical music is.
Yeah. And you know why? Because rock and roll teaches you to stick it to the man.
Well,
if you stick it to the man, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah. Well, rock and roll is also, it's not really based in, I mean, there's definitely like music theory, right? But it's kind of like,
Heard of it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Heard of music theory? Darwin's theory of music?
Darwin's theory of music? Yeah.
Survival of the highest newt. I agree with you though. I think, even though you weren't making a point, but no, you were making a point, but not a point where it's like, I'm with you, sister. Not like that point.
I was sharing like a it's Steph's Soch segment. Steph's Soch segment. That's where we learn a little sociological theory and concept as we get into the groove of this pod. Last episode, if you guys tuned into robots, I almost had a boring amount of shit to say about all the little like sociological quandaries that popped up in my brain. But all I could think about this one was Pierre Bourdieu and cultural capital and why the fuck we don't fuck with rock and roll.
Rock and roll will never be classical music. And it's very simple why. Is that classical music is based entirely. It's like is music theory. It's just music theory.
I disagree.
Rock and roll is like feeling music. You know what I mean? There's like music you feel.
Yeah, but...
And I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? I don't.
And that much is clear.
I don't.
Okay, but...
But there's a difference between music. It's just like... Yeah. There's a music that you're playing. There's like a... Like, you ever see someone play the classical guitar and they're playing it like...
But that's not like any. That's.
But then the person is playing rock and roll.
But that doesn't take any more.
Right?
Yeah, that is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it is a noise.
No, not at all. No, yeah, Danny. No.
I'm just saying that's why I think the parents are against it.
No, the parents are against it because they're rich elite and they want to maintain the status quo. But no, because rock music doesn't like there's technique, but that's the whole point I think of the if you really want to. No, you're right. The people in this movie were not like, let's make a class critique, but I'm saying let's make a class critique. I view the world through the lens of a class critique.
Was that like a type of silverware or something? What is a class? Oh, like class critique. I said it the exact same way you did. Oh, you meant class critique. Oh, you said class critique.
Yeah.
If this conversation were fine China, just be pulverized beef.
Okay, I'm just saying that like I tend to view. It's hard for me to not do anything, see anything, watch anything, and not be like, and this is because we live in a capitalist society that is destined to fail and imprison us for the rest of our lives.
Exactly.
And let's unpack that. And I think rock and roll is, according to at least School of Rock, this film, the liberator, how we stick it to the freaking man.
Yes. It's like when you shit in your bed and then you just leave it and it just bakes. It just bakes into the sheets.
Or like when you...
That's how baked into capitalism.
When you're like wiping and you're like, when is this going to end? And then you're like, I gotta just go. I have to go to work.
This goes back to
the
And you
pull up your pants and you go to work.
Yes.
And you suck it up.
Yeah, you ever not finish wiping and then you're like, I gotta get on with my day. I'm gonna have to go through this day with a little bit of poop in my butt.
Yeah, that's why you buy wet wipes.
No, fuck wet wipes.
Yeah, then your butt's wet. Why don't I want my butt crack to be wet? I guess butt crack wet with wet wipe is better than butt crack wet.
Are you speaking English? So this is like.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't like butt crack wet wipes because I like a little bit of protection. I don't want my ass touching the cold atmosphere. I want a little layer of poopy bot. You know? Little poopy SpongeBob-y.
Yeah, sometimes a little like poop in your butt.
20 minutes in to this podcast.
Sometimes a little poop in your butt can be comforting.
It's warm. It's warm and it's alive still.
It connects us to nature in a way that we simply are not used to feeling anymore because we live in a capitalist state.
Yes, when capitalism came around, everyone had to shit their pants and go around with empty sphincters. And it's fucking bullshit. I want to be able to hold a poop and go for a walk in the park. Okay? Like the Native Americans did. They never pooped. This idea that you have to poop twice a day, it's just...
No.
It's from the toilet companies want to make money. Every time we flush a toilet, they make 20 cents.
No, I think the real... It's not big toilet.
I wish life worked that way. Oh, God.
It's not even big toilet that's the problem. It's big Charmin Ultra Strong that we have to beef
Jack
with.
Black is never off a toilet. That guy's shitting 24/7.
Yeah,
dude.
that guy's got a poopy butt for sure.
Oh, yeah, God.
And I respect him for it. I think we should be more respecting of a poopy butt.
When you're 6 years old, but then suddenly you're 26 years old.
Man,
I just think we have to be more... we have to be more sensitive to poop in my butt. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Jack Black though. I love the guy who would want eventually teach these kids the value of free expression. On his first day of teaching, suggested corporal punishment. He threatened.
Yeah.
He asked if he could hit these kids.
Yeah, right. He also says
I wanted an alternate reality
in
where
which
he just beat the shit out of these kids from day one.
It's so he's terrible. He's
terrible.
Awful. He's scary, and it's a miracle that Jack Black is able to pull off being this likable because none of that was apparent to me until this rewatch.
When you're
as
watching
a kid,
it high,
I was like, he's awesome.
You're watching.
Same when she was my teacher. No, I was watching it high, but also that like. He has this moment where he's like, where the only way he's able to get the kids on his side or down with the whole rock band spiel is when he's like, and it's for a competition that's going to be a big part of your grade, and you might even get into Harvard. These poor children are already incentivized by Harvard when they should be worrying about the poop in their butts.
Exactly.
You know, like, I don't know. What's another notable part of School of Rock that I desperately wanted to bring up? The fact that
haircut, you know, that Jack Black haircut.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even. It's just, it looks so goddamn good. Like, that guy, I don't even know if he has sex. You know what I mean? Like, this character.
Yeah.
His character is a guy who never has sex. He's an asexual rock and roll king. You know what I mean?
But he definitely hooks up with Sarah Silverman in 2 years' time, and I do believe that to be true.
You think he would ruin his friendship like that? Or, you know what? She's a bitch, but he would tap that. Why am I talking like that? I don't talk like that.
That was an insane thing to say. Yeah, I would tap that. But I can say that. I think Sarah Silverman is a bitch in this movie, and I would still tap that. And I'm allowed to say that.
Life is so unfair.
She is really hot in this, though.
She's got a turtleneck on. That's about it. All she does.
Yeah.
She's got a bitchy leather jacket. She's like, I'm gonna go bitch at Dewey. Let me go grab my leather jacket first. You know.
Mike White is also a treasure in this.
Oh yeah, he played the...
He's the writer and supporting cast.
Yeah, he has like one of my favorite lines in the movie, which is I'm not a demonic sex god anymore. I'm a working stiff, and that's pretty cool. He says that.
And he
over
means
breakfast,
it.
over Fruit Loops.
He means it.
Oh, you kidding me?
This is why this movie is about fucking class. Are we kidding?
Ugh.
He says that.
He
says, and I'm a working stiff, and that's pretty cool. This movie dares you to not only live your dreams out. I don't actually think this movie is about living your dreams. It's about knowing that at the end of the day, you're gonna end up working towards. You're gonna have to pay the rent at the end of the day, and if you can do everything in your power to not spend your days hating what you do in order to pay your rent, that's a far more fruitful endeavor in the grand scheme of life.
Exactly.
Stick to the man, play some freaking rock and roll.
But also make rent.
But also, like, you do have to pay rent, and that is...
Want to lower your mic?
That is absolutely essential. I'm so worried that I'm gonna, like, fuck this up. Okay. Yeah. Have you ever not been able to make rent? Sorry.
I have $2 in my bank
Personal
account.
Question?
At
Right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
no, like literally, yes. It's a horrible feeling. And if I was like, I've been in Dewey's situation where it's like it's not even like I'm gonna get paid so I'll be good. It's like, no, I have the opportunity
to get paid. Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
And then that falls through.
Yeah.
And then you end up working as a working stiff.
Yeah.
And it isn't pretty cool.
I feel like what's also...
I tried to be a sub, too. Like, I tried the Dewey way.
Yeah.
Turns out you need...
you do need some sort of...
You needed a degree, and I only have a degree on paper. I only lie about a degree.
Right, on the res.
I lie that I have an associate's. Isn't that so sad?
Yeah, but I think if I tell people I have a BFA in screenwriting, I may as well not tell them anything. Because it's just really...
No, BFA is a BFA. BFA is a BFD.
Bofa D's nuts. Sorry. we can cut that. Just kidding, Rebeka.
You're higher class than that stuff.
I am higher class. I was taught well. I took violin, and I tried to learn how to play the electric guitar, but it's so hard to like learn an instrument and stick with it. Mm-hmm.
I played piano briefly. I played the saxophone for a week. I'm not going to tell you the story again.
Guys, full disclosure, if you've made it this far in the pod, you get to know that Danny and I filmed probably a half hour of content before we realized that nothing was actually recording and being digested. But that's really fine because
we were just sitting here having the fakest conversation with each other.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Fuck. What you were saying something about the saxophone?
I was playing it for a week. I was practicing, and when you're practicing sax, it's just squeakville, because you got to get used to the reed. Yeah. You got to suck on the reed like it's your last dick, you know?
Like a little popsicle.
Yeah, you got to suck on it like a little. You got to lick. You got to.
Oh God. Oh.
I remember our band teacher being.
Yeah.
You gotta moisten your reed and then stick it on the thing and then. And I was doing that. I was squeaking all over the place. and I swear to God, like my neighbor, my friend, was just like stop, like from across the neighborhood, from like 400 feet away.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, all right.
My piano teacher was the person who told me that Santa Claus isn't real.
What?
Yeah, because he was like this brilliant. His name was Mr. Dyson, and I also took art from him. We used to draw portraits. Like I would find like some sort of like any sort of celebrity that I was like, let's draw this, and we would draw together. And I don't know, but I also took piano lessons from him for a little while, and I really liked piano. We had a really nice piano growing up. Because he would just like come to our house, which was very convenient. Didn't have to go to School of Rock for it. But he would, at the end of like every lesson, like he would like tell me a story. I don't know why, but like one time he was like, he started it by being like, so, you know, like, so it was like around the holidays, and he was like gonna tell me the origins of Saint Nick or something. I don't know, like these. And he was like, so you know how Santa Claus isn't real, right? And I was like,
he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. Like, and I just like sat there as he told me this whole like tale of Saint Nicholas while I was just like, because like I didn't know that Santa wasn't real. He told me that Santa wasn't real, and I just to listen to him.
You know Santa. You know that's a bunch of horse shit, right?
No, I was like, it took me a while to figure it out.
How old were you?
I don't know. My parents were really.
You know.
I actually don't, but I had really awesome Christmases.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize Santa wasn't real until my piano teacher had to break the news.
Were you in high school?
No. Oh my God,
okay.
no. I was definitely in elementary school. That much I can say is true. Because I also remember previous years, like my Jewish friends being like, "You still believe in that?" And I was like, you're just jealous, okay? I celebrate Hanukkah too. All right, my dad's Jewish, so best of both worlds. And then I realized Santa Claus was in fact not real. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that such a bummer? Because after that, God is like right behind it.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like, oh.
Well, if Santa's not real, then like this whole place is falling down. Yeah. My mom used to. Okay, this is perhaps too embarrassing to share, but I'll still share it anyway. I think I read like some sort of like children's book where it was about like fairies in the garden, and at the time I had like this really like just we had like a nice backyard, so I was like I'm gonna write a letter and see if the fairies respond. So like I wrote out a letter to the fairies and I like put it under like a rock, and then I baked some scones with my mom, and I left some scones out for the fairies. I left some scones out for the fairies because that's what they do in the book. They leave scones out.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a squirrel run and get it, and I was like, no! When I like, ran outside, I was like, go away!
Oh,
and then
so sweet.
Someone in my family like left a note from the fairies.
Aww.
And then I was like, oh my God, they answered. But I don't know. I think that was like maybe a weekend that I had where I was like, and there's fairies in the garden. Yeah, and then I like forgot about it. But it was.
I believed in leprechauns in the first grade.
For real? I can't believe I just said that I like left notes for fairies in the garden, and then when you said you believed in fairy leprechauns, I was like, "You're so fucking stupid."
I know. Right?
Sorry, I didn't mean it.
I asked for fairy dust that year. Yeah, it's like leprechauns, fairies, Easter bunny, like it's all real. Mm-hmm. Although I don't know, I think when you're a kid, you do kind of like this double think thing where you kind of believe and don't believe at the same time.
Yeah.
In things.
So like, you believe because you're getting something out of it.
I was like, Santa's both real, not real. My parents are staying together and getting divorced. Like, the truth, but you're like, I'm a kid. I'll just not believe it.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have the choice when you're a kid to just willingly believe the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's really quite an incredible ability that only kids have. When you're an adult, you are forced to just believe in what's real.
Yeah.
So leprechauns were real to me, and also bullshit. But I was like, fuck it, they're real.
It's honestly shocking to me that Jack Black has never played a leprechaun in a film. Like there's a stoner comedy out there. Someone has to write it where like it's kind of like Elf, where like he thinks he's a leprechaun. But they're like, you're like he's like a big old dude, and they're like, what are you doing under
it's a name
this rainbow?
That rhymes too. Like it's not Jack Black. It's like
Jack Black is himself in this movie.
Or it's not Jack Black. It's like Gene Green. He plays like a leprechaun. Hey, I'm Gene Green. Ooh, they're all after me, Lucky Charms.
I don't like it.
Why?
I don't like it.
They're all after me, Fruit Loops.
I thought it would be like funny and silly to think of Jack Black as a leprechaun, but the more I think about it,
what if it was just an Irish guy for every cereal? They're all after me, Captain Crunchies.
Oh my god.
They're all after me, Toast.
Lucky Charms? I remember when my parents got divorced, I was like, it's fucking Lucky Charms time, baby. Because I would like go over to my dad's and I'd be like, he kind of has to do whatever I say.
Right.
Going over to dad's is like, they gotta listen. God.
My dad, when he first moved into his new place, we all like we're just so thirsty for some reason. Yeah. And he his faucets weren't on yet, but he had orange just Gatorade, and he didn't have any cups. Like he had no cups yet, so all he had were measuring cups. So he poured us measuring cups full of orange Gatorade,
and then he put on School of Rock.
Yeah.
No, oh my God. We had red Powerade.
He had the biggest one because he was the biggest of the three of us, and I had like the quarter cup. We're all drinking different portions of the Gatorade. We're drinking it by the actual portion it says to drink it.
Oh my God.
Like on the side. It was the most ridiculous moment of my life. It's like we were like in prison.
That's incredible.
It was great. It was that's probably my best divorced dad story.
Yeah. I don't think I have very many good ones. I just have distinctly remembering.
He got his shit together shortly after that. And
yeah.
He had cups. Yeah. My dad's actually pretty good at interior designing.
Love that. Yeah. It's so special.
Yeah. He's, he designs interiors well.
Yeah. I feel like,
but
yeah, Jack Black a dad?
We would watch movies like School of Rock when I'd go over to his place.
Yeah, this is a divorced dad movie, 100%. Oh yeah, through and through.
I don't know if we got this part on tape, but it was so funny when I said it.
You could say it.
Which is that when your parents get divorced, it's gonna be so embarrassing if this was shot. And I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember. No. School of Rock, because we did Robots last week.
Yeah.
And Robots is a movie you watch. Like when you know your parents are getting divorced, but you don't want to accept it yet.
Yeah.
And School of Rock is a movie you watch with, like, your divorced parents will actually hang out in the same room.
Yes.
And watch, like, we're still a family.
Yeah.
Like, there's family movies. School of Rock is we're still a family movie.
Yeah. It's actually so special.
Yeah.
Like, you hear mom and dad, like, screaming, yelling upstairs, and you're like, what's that sound?
Yeah.
And they're like, that's the sound of Jack Black. Let's sit down and crack this open.
Yeah, you start putting it up louder to drown out the noises, and you hear the TiVo.
Yeah. Dude, my dad still uses TiVo.
Are you serious?
My dad uses... I was home for Christmas, and my dad was like... Like, I went over to my dad's for, like, Christmas Eve or whatever, and he was like, let's watch something. And he goes to his, like, recorded TiVos with a little green dot or whatever. There's, like, there's, like, the dots where you, like, save them forever. He has, like, random episodes of The Office saved forever. And I'm like, Dad, this is on Netflix. You pay for Netflix, or it's on Paramount Plus. I was like, Ted, you pay for the streaming services that you can watch this on, and you'll still watch it on TiVo, even though TiVo, like, cuts off the beginning and the end of the recording somehow. Like, it just, like, misses it because he filmed it on, like, cable television, and he still watches those. I'm like, Dad, these episodes are available. You pay to watch these.
You just scream in your house now, and it plays the episode wherever you're standing.
You don't need to keep TiVo.
You don't need to have a TV.
Yeah. The TiVo guy's really adorable, though.
I gotta tell you, I like licked that remote till it was fucking raw. I used to suck on that remote just when I was a kid.
TiVo.
Yeah. I'd like take out the batteries.
It does have...
I'd lick the batteries. I just fucking put all of it in my mouth.
It does have a...
I'd get them all together and just lick them all.
It does have a good shape about it.
Yeah, it's a great shape.
Remotes are too... I feel like modern remotes are too square. They don't have a grip. You can't caress a modern remote in your hand the same, like a fucking Amazon Fire Stick, a little Roku remote. What are these tiny little dick remotes? Like, I want like
I know
something I can hold on to.
These little PowerPoint clickers that you got. You're like,
and you can speak into them.
No, I like the remotes where you just like. I love the remotes where it just looks like a fucking. Like, you got, like, there's a green triangle and a red square. Like, there's random shapes.
Like, if you press the wrong thing, a bomb blows up. It's like incredibly high stakes.
You delete your dad's entire, like, show that he was... And you were just scrambling to get it back.
He also just has, like, among random episodes of The Office, also random episodes of Monk. It's another one that he likes to have saved. And also, like... Only the bad alien movies.
Oh, really?
None of the good ones.
Yeah.
No alien, no aliens. Just like fucking like Prometheus. My dad loves the worst of the movies.
Oh, yeah. No, my parents have the worst taste in movies.
It's not that my dad has bad taste in movies. It's just that like he always likes like his favorite Star Wars movie, which is also one of my favorites, obviously, because it's, you know, as I previously discussed with Pierre Bourdieu, parents like to pass along their cultural tastes in a way that influences their children. And my dad, for some reason, decided to pass on the takes that Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is the best one, which is a kind of insane take to have for someone who actually grew up watching the original Star Wars. I don't know how he came to that conclusion, but... Anakin Skywalker was, I think, in many ways a sexual awakening for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's...
Do you know?
Your dad passed that down to you?
He couldn't have known that I would react in such a way to that film.
Listen, Steph, you're going to love this.
This guy with long hair, it's going to really confuse you for a long time. Oh my god!
I loved Revenge of the Sith.
No, it's a good one. It's like my favorite. It's actually my favorite.
Actually,
I just lied. Just like,
yeah,
outright lied. We've barely talked about.
You can say anything. That's another part of growing up.
Yeah,
is that you realize you can just say anything.
Yeah.
To people. No. It's just the scene where like they're racing and the things. I just like that scene. It's like when you're a kid. All you do...
I think that's Phantom Menace, but...
No, it's not. But yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Anyway, when you're a kid, you just watch scenes of movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would pop in a DVD and then watch all the transformation scenes in Hulk 2003. That's all I did. And then I would get a weird boner from it, too. I don't know why.
We're like,
that was a sexual awakening. What?
That was a sexual awakening. The Hulk.
It wasn't really sexual. It was just like
he's pretty.
It's just power.
Whoa. That's a lot for one man to possess.
School of Rock, completely asexual movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, some might say because it's a family film.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was such a good, like, I was really wondering, like, why is it so good?
Such a good movie.
And
it's so simple. It's so well executed.
It's good.
I honestly, when I remembered like being when we decided to watch School of Rock for this week's episode, I was like, fuck yeah, like fucking love that movie. And then I was watching it and I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's a movie.
I was like, it did it. It's good.
This is like a movie responsible adults would make. You know what I mean? It does not veer from anything.
Jack Black is like really funny in it, and there's like a lot of really cute, sweet, genuine moments. He has that moment with the girl she's like afraid to go on stage, and she's like, it's because I'm fat, and he doesn't say you're not fat. He says like he just like lifts her up and says, you have a beautiful voice and you're so talented. And then she's like, you're fat. And he's like, yeah, I am. And then she's like, well, why don't you lose weight? And he said, because I like to eat. Is that such a crime? Yeah, and that is genuinely like, I feel a remarkably incredible thing for a 2003 movie to have in it.
Yeah, I remember it on like Tumblr in 2014, seeing that part of the movie.
Like on gift sets.
And the people on it were just like, look at this scene. It's such a wholesome scene. It's body positivity, and I remember being like, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Tumblr picked up on School of Rock.
I think that overall incredibly just like a great message to send to kids. For the most, it's good. It's telling you to drop out, smoke dope, have a good time. Well, actually, the movie does say
have sex with people.
There's this moment where they say rock and roll is not about like smoking dope. It's about
It's about the music.
It's about the music and the feeling and the sticking it to the man.
Jack Black is like, it's not about the hanging out. It's about the
It's what? Not about that. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's
no. He lies so well in this movie. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's hanging out with the teachers at the lunch table, and he's just lying to them.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even have to lie. Like, now he's just telling them stories that just don't
matter.
Like, he's like, I almost got a second chair in the London Philharmonic or whatever.
Yeah.
But he lost it to Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, Little Nepetiz. What great, like, what are you saying? Like, he's just lying.
Yeah. Lying is so fun sometimes.
Well, he's just so good at it.
He's so good at it. It did occur to me, they never really... This is not related to the lying thing, but I have to say it before it leaves my brain. I actually think that his character would be less creepy if he did smoke weed.
What?
The lack of him smoking weed element makes it scarier.
He's just sober.
That man is stone cold sober and he acts like that. That's scarier. That's honestly scarier.
Wait, here's the thing. It's kind of, albeit very like unconventional, but that is his path into teaching.
Yeah.
That he never really loved like rock and roll that much.
Yeah.
He just really loved teaching. And that when you see it through that lens, like when he gets that call, like, we pay our substitute teachers. He's like, wait, I've been chasing this rock and roll dream. I could just make money doing what I really want to do, which is teach. But he doesn't even know that at that point. Yeah,
it does take him a while to get there.
Yeah, it takes him a while because he's Jack Black. And he's too fucking focused on his own bits to see that he's...
I don't know, it also is like about like compromise and not like, you don't have to like give up your dreams. You just have to like rework them into your modern world and modern self. Like he's not going to be like this like rock and roll musician. That was never in the cards for him. But he can still find a way to have music in his life and make money and like be a real human being.
By the way, I looked in the wiki, like for the plot summary at the end when it says like he starts running like a like an after school program. Yeah, but him and those kids, they tour. That's a part of the story.
Really?
Yeah, that's why Summer is like talking to people on the phone. Is like they're playing gigs. Like they're
Whoa.
So like he made it. But
he did make
he
it.
just plays with these kids. Isn't that nuts? It kind of destroys everything we've been talking about.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I didn't pick up on that, then I can't be that important. As a
I guess not.
As a sole arbiter.
Steph's sociological corner.
My sociological mind only has
Steph's
so much space for an expansive vocabulary. Some words get left to the wayside.
I like what's the opposite of expansive? I like a
reductive. Bless.
Vocabulary doesn't get more reduced than that.
You're screaming. Oh my god. I'm gonna briefly have to like really, really look through my notes. Oh, this is important. Did you know that Zach Mooneyhan, who he's the guitar guy?
Zach Mooneyhan.
That actor was arrested for stealing guitars recently.
Are you kidding?
I'm so serious.
You're lying.
Well, because I was looking like, looking around about shit about this movie, and I was like, his, like it on Wikipedia it shows little headshots of everyone, and they're like random whatever the like images. It's like that looks like a mugshot actually, and it was for stealing guitars.
That's incredible.
I know.
Good for him.
I know. I was like, it honestly felt like I was proud. Like I know in some ways I should be disappointed because that's not what the movie ultimately is telling us. But I was like, I think I'm pro stealing, and that's the stance I'm willing to make.
You saw his picture, and you saw Zach Mooneyhan, not the actor.
That's true.
You saw Zach stealing guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's this actor. That's the actor stealing guitars.
Yeah. I think that this movie was probably so Miranda Cosgrove being the only one to really progress into a further career, devastating, because these kids are so wonderful, and it's kind of the antithesis of the film that they would not succeed post being child actors.
Right.
But I'm sure they're all doing wonderful things. It's like in Degrassi, one of my favorite actors on Degrassi, he played the character JT.
The guy in the wheelchair?
He went on to be a financial analyst.
Oh, really?
Did you mean that when you said the guy in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
The guy in the wheelchair is Drake, Danny.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I never watched the show.
I've seen...
Wow, I couldn't be wrong in a more big way.
I know, I was like...
But Drake isn't in a wheelchair.
In real life, no.
Yeah.
No.
He was acting?
There's an episode of Degrassi where Drake gets shot in the back. And then he's in a wheelchair.
What are they, in middle school?
High school.
Oh my god.
Well, actually, Degrassi is middle school and high school. There's like this one. There's one. But he was high school aged when he was shot in the back.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
It's like when you have your sexual awakening, you know?
Yeah. Supposed to be sucking dick, not getting shot in the back. Ideally, in high school, I don't want to be shot in the back. I want to,
Instead.
Stupid.
God, getting shot in the back, that must suck. Especially. Well, you're trying to complete your education?
Yeah. It would also suck to lose a month of schooling for some creep to try and recruit you into his rock band.
Ugh, I would love that. Imagine being
No, because
8.
I would not be one of the people chosen for the band. He chooses like 5 of the kids, and the girl who plays bass doesn't even speak. The girl who plays bass doesn't speak a word in this movie.
No,
at all.
It kind of sucks, like, for the rest of the kids who are, like, not playing instruments
it's
in this class. Like
they're like sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
Those kids are, oh no, you're security.
You're soundproofing the building. Bless you. Our mouths can be instruments too.
I completely sneeze. I don't. Why is my body shutting down right now?
I don't know. I do feel as though I've said most of what I want to say about School of Rock. If I'm being so completely totally honest with you, unless you have some dire topics to share. The weird thing about this movie is I feel like it almost like I remember it so fondly, and it's kind of like there's not. Like, there were like lines that he said where I was like, that was awesome. And I actually, you know what? Notably, I did cry watching this movie.
What?
Yeah.
You were leaving that part out? You shed a tear?
I was like actively crying.
News. Really?
Yeah, because I was watching. Oh, yeah. Wait, no. The end scene when they're singing the song at the battle bands, and their parents are like, there are kids up there. We gotta get in. And they go and they're like watching their kids who they've spent so far in their lives, molding them to become these future citizens, and prioritizing that over like their kids actually like having fun and like finding passions and interests and hobbies. And you see the parents like who were previously furious that like melt away, and they're actually very proud of their kids. And like one of the parents, they like speak to each other and they're like, your kid's really good, and he's like, your kid is too, and like they're very talented. And it's like, I don't know, I thought it's a very beautiful moment. And I don't know why it affects me so much, because my parents have only ever been supportive and loving, but I was like, oh my god, supportive parents.
No, it's sweet because like these kids are they're doing something that's like, so like this guy taught their children to play just good music perfectly in front of a packed audience. And do it like while enjoying it too. Yeah. Like this guy is an incredible teacher. Yeah. I love that. It's such a clever way to get around the he's in trouble aspect of this. Is that the raw just performance at the end is what literally wins them over. It's the power of rock and roll. You know, those kids, the kids are not playing for these people in the audience. They're playing for their parents. That's wild. Yeah. That's all they were doing the whole time. That's all they were practicing for. Yeah. That's approval. Whoa. That's the School of Rock.
That's the School of Rock.
Yeah.
I think I want to learn how to play the bass. I've been aspiring to that.
Cello.
Well, I always thought that I should have chosen the cello instead of the violin.
Okay, now I want you to go. No, that's like George
of the Jungle. A little lighter up top.
He's such an insane. What are they teaching this place?
Math.
Let's rock together.
Let's rock today.
Now that's a long handshake. We'll work on that. Get out of here.
There's so many beautiful like little. I think that's why this movie is so good. Is because it's such a simple plot, but such like little tight little quips that are not even like. They're not really even really jokes as much as they're just like sweet, endearing, like look at them go kind of moments. Yeah. There needs to be more look at them go kind of moments in cinema these days.
I agree.
And that's what School of Rock brings to the table, other than being a children of divorce film.
Music is the only thing this guy could have been teaching the kids on the side.
Oh my god!
Instead of educating them, like anything else. Can you imagine if he was a comedian and he's like, "We're practicing for last guys," and you just see all these kids have like type fives. It would be so creepy to watch your child
do stand-up comedy.
And kill.
Oh my god. That's so scary. What even material do you have to work with? My mom will sometimes ask me.
You ever notice your parents being fucking assholes?
My mom asks me if I talk about her like in my material, and I don't really. But she was like, what would you even talk about? That I always eat pretzels when we're on the phone. And I was like, Mom, you gotta be real with yourself. I've lived a long, storied 24 years, and if that's the thing that I'm talking about on stage, you should count your blessings, to be so honest.
That is kind of a great, like, who eats pretzels on the phone? Does she do that specifically?
Because I'll be like, Mom, are you chewing?
Yeah.
Like, are you chewing right now? I hear chewing noises.
Wait. Are they hard pretzels or soft pretzels?
Hard pretzels.
Obviously. And Ani Ann's just like a ginormous pretzel that she was just snacking on.
At home. Pretzels at home.
Oh, Steph's calling. Look, let me grab my...
Let me start the oven.
Let me grab my salty twigs. Whatever the...
It is bizarre. But, God. I just wish I could play an instrument.
I mean, I can. The sun'll come out tomorrow. It's a goddamn new day. It's a brand new fucking day in the city. I'm sorry. I can sing the Incredibles theme song.
Your voice is the instrument?
Yeah. Mr. Incredible.
Oh
Quick baby on fire. This isn't even a good bit. All right.
Should we I think we're at an hour-ish.
Are we? Whoa. Great. We're exactly in an hour.
We're at exactly an hour, and I
can't imagine anyone listening to this and feeling completely relaxed, but that's fine.
That's fine. It's been a lovely hour, and I'm incredibly content with... Should we decide right now what our next episode is?
Yeah, we haven't even talked about it.
Can I say that I think we should watch either Juno or some other like teen rom-com, silly, goofy, teen, not a family movie, or I'll think too much of my childhood again in a way that I wish to not for at least another month.
We can watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I literally just said not another family movie. Those were the exact...
That's a teen movie. That's like a coming of age.
They literally are children.
Oh.
I want something where,
teenagers are like...
Where they're like,
Yeah.
I want to watch something where I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
I want to watch something where I'm like, there could be cigarettes involved in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Juno's a perfect... Or Adventureland. Adventure Time, whatever.
Adventureland? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Let's do Juno.
All right.
Wait, actually, Rod, you pick. Should we do Juno or Adventureland?
I kind of think you should do Juno.
Okay, let's do Juno.
All right. So next week we're going to be watching Juno.
What?
Tune in next episode for Juno.
I love that voice you do whenever you're doing.
Tune in next episode for Juno. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Thank you for listening.
Listening, if you're audio listener.
Audio.
If you're listening in the car, don't crash.
Oh, Jesus.
Keep driving.
Woo, 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 woo.
All right.